Okay, everybody, check it out. It's Tooth and Nail. Tooth and Nail, that's a 5 colorless, 2 green sorcery. Choose one, search your library for up to 2 creature cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. Or put up to 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Sweet, okay? And then entwine for 2 colorless additional. Choose both if you pay the entwine cost. So for the 7 colorless, 2 green, you're going to be able to look for 2 specific creature cards in your library. And then you get to pick both options. You can put those right on the battlefield. So obviously we're going right into this guy here. Obviously, we're going to be searching up the Ornithopter and the Hope of Ghirapur. Most definitely, especially because we're playing the Maria, Scholar of Antiquity. And, before we get into the deck, I just kind of want to talk about, like, the depth of Magic and kind of how, for how maybe overwhelming it can be. And, maybe if, you're continuing to get into it, maybe you've heard, like, things of, like, CEDH. And I think it's kind of important that, it just kind of, from what I've learned and kind of what people consider CEDH, it's not just putting like a mana crypt and like an ancient tomb into your deck. There's a lot of nuances, and some of these decks that are CEDH level are like $7,000 decks, and it's because really they just have like some very, very strong cards that have a great synergy together, and it's not just not piecing like fast mana together and getting those lines, those just abundance of fast things. It is a very fast format, but there's definitely some strategy involved in it. There's definitely like specific lines to be offered, and some commanders like Maria, they're just not considered like CEDH commanders, and it's kind of sad because I feel like this card is it can be so explosive, and it's kind of like really like a Maria doesn't have legs like in that format. It's kind of unnerving to me that like maybe she doesn't have that prominence, and maybe she's like kind of an in-between line, but she's still very good. And this commander is the 1 colorless, 1 red, 1 green. Tap an untapped non-token artifact you control, add the green. Then tap 2 untapped non-token artifacts you control, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. So basically you can do the impulse draw where, for instance, if you had 2 artifacts that weren't doing anything, you were running out of, you didn't have any cards in your hand, you can go ahead and tap these down. And then you would basically be able to reveal the top card of your library. And then you could play it that turn. So if you revealed a land and you had to play a land for turn, you would just go ahead and play it. And that's probably the strategy. So, but all in all, this card is definitely in the deck. We're not going to be tutoring exactly for these, but we will be utilizing these most definitely to get to where we need to be to cast these super sweet spells. So, for instance, we'll have the Ornithopter and the Hope of Ghirapur. These are both flyers, so that's kind of nice, right? So you got a 0 mana flyer here, and then a 1 mana flyer. The goal for these two especially is to get a prying blade on one of them. A Beamtown Beatstick wouldn't really be necessary. They'd already probably be pretty evasive, but that could be fine too. And a Goldvine pick. So these are 3 that are kind of nice to put on our flyers and kind of accrue that early game value, right, with them as well, to kind of start generating treasures as soon as possible. Really definitely want to make an abundance of treasures for this deck. Additionally, like some just nice incremental value. If we're going to be playing like a lot of little dorks here, we should get some sort of value from dealing early damage. We're not going to be doing heavy damage, but we're going to be pinging damage, right, with our creatures. So a card like Light Up the Stage seems pretty good here, where we're just going to be able to, deal damage on a turn cycle, play for the red, and get some cards, get some extra looks for the next turn. Seems very good for us. Additionally, a card I just love in this deck is Goblin Engineer. This one will actually tutor for any artifact in your deck to put in your graveyard. We're going to pick the 3 or less, most likely on every circumstance. And the reason for that is that we're going to be looking for our swords. So, for instance, our sort of Forge and Frontier, look at it, it's the oil slick, it's beautiful. And additionally, wow, it's kind of crazy on the screen, huh? This one is these swords are so good. So basically, for instance, imagine just like a Goblin Engineer coming down. We'll put like whatever pro red, pro green, maybe pro red, pro blue, whatever looks good for the battlefield at the time. Because we have options between the Sword of Forge and Frontier and Fire and Ice. So this one will give you pro red and green, whereas this one will give you pro blue red. They all give a 2/2 buff to the creature that they're equipped to, and protection from those specific colors, red and green for sword, blue and red for fire and ice. And they have different abilities when they connect with combat damage. So, for instance, for the Sword of Forge and Frontier, we get to exile the top 2 cards of our library and also play an additional land on our turn. That's really good. Sword of Fire and Ice is similar to that, where we're going to be doing the combat damage, dealing 2 damage to any target, and drawing a card based on the combat damage. So the absolute wombo combos here in your early game are these 2 swords here, and then the Goblin Engineer with the Lizard Blades and the Phyrexian Dragon Engine. Those are just like they have double strike already written into their text, both of these. And when they have the swords equipped to them, they're just so good. It's like an instant concede, and usually in a brawl format, when you like go into like a Lizard Blade and a Goblin Engineer, and you can basically equip one of these with the swords. It's just kind of like good game. So yeah, that's really good. And additionally, we have the Dowsing Dagger. This would be also great to put on our, Ornithopter or Hope of Ghirapur. Get the Dowsing Dagger going, create our Lotus Land for the Dowsing Dagger. Just another great equipment here. And that's when it deals combat damage, it turns into this Lotus Land here. It's fantastic. Really good in Commander formats. Dowsing Dagger with All-Star here. So that's kind of like our combat synergy here. So we have that kind of lined up. Like that's kind of an easy one, right? Additionally, let's talk about some of our, basically our win cons. Let's just get right into our win con. So basically we have these cards like Savage Vent Maw that produces an extreme amount of mana based on combat when it attacks. Cloth, similar to that, when it attacks, it basically will create mana of any color, basic X mana, any combination of colors, where X is the total power of attacking creatures. A very strong dragon, of course. Old Gnawbone will just create an abundance of treasures based on the combat damage that we do to a player. And additionally, the major card here we have is the Hellkite Charger, right? So that gets us into our infinite combat steps. And once again, going back to the Tooth and Nail, it's going to be kind of what the card that we're going to be looking for. There's no doubt this is kind of the glue that puts it all together here. So we can just go ahead and Tooth and Nail for our combo pieces like the Hellkite Charger, and we'll be all set from there. We do have some other extra combat creatures that just are built into the creature itself, like the Scourge of Throne. That's a nice one. So that one's the one that you can, you attack the opponent with the most life, and you get an additional combat phase that triggers once per turn. Atarka is just another one that's going to give all our dragons double strike. It's a really mean dude. You want to kind of get out of the range of some other things. Maybe put on like a Goldline pick. The toughness is a little low, so you want to try to buff this up a little bit too. Atarka helps. And then so that's basically our primary win cons for the deck. So we can probably go over the other dragons as too. I don't mind kind of just going into that. But we do have a lot of other nice value dragons here, ones that will also be producing treasures. So this one does a little bit of both of that, where we can get like a lot of value from exiling off the top of our library. We can make treasures and more creatures, and it's kind of a wild card, that Bonehorde Dracosaur, Cavern Horde Dragon, just for making like more treasures, getting into our treasure synergy. Ancient Copper Dragon, just more and more treasures. Here's the dragon tribal action here with the Herald's Horn. It reduces our dragon costs and helps us get some dragons that are on the top of our library. Urza's Incubator, this will reduce the cost of our dragons. Doors of Durn, just an absolute all-star here to, look at the top cards of our library when we attack. find that really big creature on top and swing in. Here's our hasty package. So we got Rabid Battery, Lightning Greaves, Swiftfoot Boots, and the Dragon Tempest. Fantastic. Then we have our removal suite, because we definitely want to play removal. So I consider Scourge of Valkus as a nice removal package with the Dragon Broodmother. Additionally, Lapis can keep our Dragon Gas going. That's a nice one as well. Tear the Peak can get in there, no doubt. Hellkite Charger, or Steel Hellkite, fantastic form of removal here. Tyrant's Familiar, excellent as well. We have our Balefire Dragon, and then of course our Invasion of Tarkir for a little spot removal. We don't have too much spot removal. We have the Spikefield Hazard and Invasion of Tarkir, and then the dragons have to basically do the rest of the work. In terms of value, like Maria Shell, this is what we're working with here. We'll just kind of rip through this. We have like our Bauble here, Sensei's Divining Top. These are just our low cost artifacts that will act as mana rocks and value with equipments to have an equip cost that benefits us. Cards from the Bank Buster, Mask of Memory, that will give some nice looting effects and kind of get us some more looks at cards. Also really good with our Ornithopter and Hope of Ghirapur. Howling Mind is just a fantastic card to generate some card value for us. Sylvan Library is another one that gives us a ton of cards. Seasoned Pyromancer is a great one. A great choice, just another great creature inclusion that will, if we're low on cards, we can, or out of cards in general, play a Seasoned Pyro, draw two new fresh cards, and also make some, if we did discard any cards in the process, create some elemental tokens. The One Ring, just for drawing an extreme amount of cards, just a fantastic artifact card for us. Dragonborn Champion, this is going to get value just from us dealing damage at 5 or more damage at a time. Chiscoria also is just so good with all our artifacts to kind of get our value going. These are all value cards. They just keep our magic going and keep us finding some more interesting things. Great Henge, ooh, just a big boss right there. And this is kind of our low to end stuff, that's really exceptional, right? So we have our Paradise Mantle here, Mox Opal, Mox Amber, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, and Ruby Medallion. Additionally, there's a card named Pentad Prism, which is really crazy good. I wonder if it, might take a spot of an Arcane Signet. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but that particular card is really good with Maria and kind of explosive because it gets sunburst counters on it from the amount of mana that you put into it, different mana you put into it. So up to 2, a red and green source, and then you could use those up to create any mana. You can just spend it. They don't come back. And then Maria could just tap it for mana later. So it's kind of an insane card. Pretty crazy, actually. So, I could even foresee us, maybe dropping one of these other cards, in favor of that. But we'll see. But Paradise Mantle is very good. Mox Opal, fantastic. All these are just amazing 0 drops for us. They just get us so far ahead and create a ton of value with Maria. Soul Ring, of course, is very good with our colorless suite. Have a lot of good colorless cards. Here's the Ruby Medallion. Makes all our red spells cost 1 less to play. These are just all very fantastic. The Arcane Signet, just really good cards in general, really. There's easy slot-ins. We have a couple dorks here, the Bird of Paradise, Delighted Halfling. I consider Soul Ring a dork too. We have the Ragavan. Selvala is just exceptional, of course, in any green deck, really. So looking forward to her. There's Ragavan. Magda for creating this abundance of treasures. We can tutor up some dragons. That'd be another way to tutor us our win cons, right? Professional Facebreaker will also, this one's a key card because we have, once again, our Ornithopter and our, Hope of Ghirapur and our other little dudes that are kind of accruing this value. So this one's nice where we can just go ahead and deal some combat damage and then to an opponent. And then based on that combat damage, we create a treasure token. So it's really nice. Really good with our double strikers too. Whew. Real good. Big score. This is a nice form of card advantage for us. It's just really nice, We need it. And it's at instant speed too. So we like that as well. And then the Goldspan Dragon. So that's pretty much the deck, everybody. The land suite is kind of nice too because it's just got all the nice kind of interesting colorless ones, like the Haven of the Spirit Dragon. It's a nice colorless one. They can also pay any for our dragons, and then it can resurrect one graveyard dragon in our graveyard and put it back in our hand. That's really nice. A Mycosynth Garden, you'd have to sacrifice the land in the process. Okay, so that's the downside. The Mycosynth Garden, this is great for like copying our swords. Really good for that. Urza Saga just tutors up those nice 1 mana colorless artifacts on stage 3, which is really good. Spire of Industry, a fantastic dual land because we're going to be playing lots of artifacts. Beleged Recovery to get those dragons back in case we lose any of them. Here's Boseiju, Den of the Bugbear. I'm sure we have Lair of the Hydra. These are the channel lands here. Boseiju and Salkanzan. Then you have your man lands here. Spikefield Hazards, snipe one of those pesky 1 toughness creatures. Those awful commanders that do naughty things when they're unopposed. So that would be a nice little sneaky one. Turn to Symbiosis, Shadow Skull Smashing, another nice removal spell on a land. Fantastic. Here's our nice duels. We got lots of duels in here. Really nice mana base, so we're not really concerned at all. We're going to be pretty righteous here. And got Yavimay in the back. All right, sweet deck, everybody. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. Comments, please let me know what's going on. Bye-bye.